इसमें से 3 उनके सिर पर लगी और घटना स्थल पर ही उनकी मृत्यु हो गई।
This was not a random act of violence. This was a message. Who was Phulan Devi?
मेरा नाम फूलन देवी है, जो पंडित क्वीन के नाम से जानते हैं।
Why did she bear the title of the Bandit Queen of India? Who were the men who shot her? And what events led to her tragic assassination? Today, in the first episode of Women's Wrongs, we will discuss the journey of Phulan Devi's life, a story of resistance, resilience, and rage that resonates with women not just in India but across the globe. Phulan Devi was born on 10th August 1960s to Mula and Devidin, a family belonging to Malla caste, one of the most oppressed castes in India. She was the second of 5 children with 4 sisters and 1 brother. Her birthplace was Uttar Pradesh, one of the India's most populous states. She comes from a small village called Gurha Ka Purva, which is located in Jalun near the town of Kalpe. This comes in the Bundelkhand region. Bundelkhand is a character in itself. It has dry land, rocky hills, deep ravines. These are big cracks and valleys in the land, and they make the area very difficult to travel through. This was good for dacoits and bandits because police would have a lot of trouble finding them. Now coming back to Phulan Devi's family. Phulan Devi's dad had a brother named Bihari Lal. Bihari Lal and his son Mayadeen were the villains of her early life. I don't even want you to think of them positively for even a second. They stole land from Phulan Devi's family by bribing the village leader to change the land records, and her family was pushed to the margins, both literally and socially. They were forced to move to a tiny house at the edge of the village, and Bihari Lal and Mayadeen didn't stop there. They kept harassing the family, stealing crops, intimidating them, trying to kick them out completely. They also had a court case going on with respect to the land that they stole. But the court case was going on in the court, and they had to live in the village where no one sided with them. Phulan Devi was someone who always fought back. She would win sometimes, but mostly lose. She was just 10 years old from when she completely chose not to be silent like they expected little girls to be. This family was fighting hard for their land, and the Sarpanch, who is the village leader, was clearly not on their side. He once said that if Phulan Devi does not behave, they should also beat up her parents. But Phulan Devi did not stop. At the age of 11, she was standing up to adult men and defending her father's land. Her fire, even at that age, was undeniable. And I hate the fact that she had to fight so much because 10-year-old girls should not fight with adult men. 10-year-old girls should go outside and play with other 10-year-old girls and go to school, study, and do other things that children do. But she did not have that privilege. She did not have the privilege to be a child. Tell me again, who are the protectors and the providers? These men? They did not even let her have a normal childhood. Mayadeen was fed up with her and he wanted her gone. And what is the best way to get rid of a girl? You guessed it right. Get her married. He found a man for Phulan Devi, Puttilal, a widower who was thrice her age. Puttilal liked her and her family could not say no. They accepted this proposal. This was a child getting married to a middle-aged man. Child marriage is illegal in India, and we had to make a law to stop men from getting married to little girls. Can you imagine? So Puttilal agreed to marry her now and take her to live with him later when she is a little bit older. But on the day of the marriage, he insisted that she go with him right then. Her mother protested a bit, saying she's too young, she's just 11 years old. But they had no power, they had to let her go. At that time, Phulan Devi did not understand why her mother was protesting so much. She thought Puttilal just wanted a woman in his house to cook and clean and take care of the house. She did not know the reality of marriage. When the truth came to her, she realized Puttilal was a disgusting man looking for a sexual and few women from Puttilal's village gasped when they saw how tiny Phulan Devi actually is. They were muttering things like, she's just a child and he's a disgusting man. He first wife and now he has bought this little girl. These women were worrying so much about her and it was completely warranted. Puttilal in any way that he could. She was so sick once that her father had to come and take her to the doctor with him. When she recovered, she refused to go back to his house again. He came again and again asking for his wife. He also brought police once with him, and when police looked at Phulan Devi, they were like, "What the fuck? She's a child." And they told Puttilal that if he comes again with this disgusting request, they will arrest him. When she was living in her own village, Mayadeen was still constantly her. He constantly troubled her, and she always wondered if he was behind Puttilal coming again and again to get her. One time when her mother was out of town, Puttilal came again to get her because her mother was the only one who constantly protected her. Phulan Devi was once again in her husband's house. She was sick again, and then he abandoned her near her village and left her. Now that Phulan Devi was once again at her parents' house, people constantly taunted her and they asked questions like why is she not with her husband? At this point, she was a little older and she was fighting with people left, right, and center. She was demanding wages. She also attacked the Sarpanch one. And the Sarpanch is a very powerful position in the village. A Sarpanch is the elected head of village's Gram Panchayat, the grassroots level institution of local self-governance in India. Think of Sarpanch as the village's main decision maker, responsible for implementing government schemes, handling local disputes, and oversees development of work like roads, water supply, or sanctions. For instance, if a government scheme provides funds for building toilets in rural homes, it is the Sarpanch who ensures that it reaches the right families. In other case, if there was a land dispute or issue with local school, villages often turn to Sarpanch for resolution. This is the person that Phulan Devi once attacked because he was misbehaving with her and her mother. Now imagine a girl who fights with the whole village, who attacks the Sarpanch, who fought with her husband and now lives with her parents. Now guess what happened to her next? In retaliation, the son of the Sarpanch her. According to Phulan Devi, she knew things like this happened with a lot of women, but they chose to stay silent. She wasn't going to do that. She went to a Thakur in a nearby village who had problems with the Sarpanch of her village to complain about this. The Thakurs were the dominant landowning upper caste group in that area, and even today they are a dominant group over there. They held social and political power. But here is one Thakur man listening to her. He came and he threatened the Sarpanch and his family. She felt amazing, but soon she realized that he had come to her village because it was beneficial to him and he did not genuinely want to help her. Now this pissed off the Sarpanch on another level. He's not going to sit there and take this from Phulan Devi, right? So they retaliate once again. When Phulan Devi was at her older sister's house, Mayadeen, her cousin brother, spread a rumor that Phulan Devi is a dacoit and she has stolen a lot of things from his house. She was not a dacoit then, but he said that she is. And he followed that up with a police complaint. The police showed up. Not to protect a little girl, but to silence her. She was taken into custody and kept in jail for a few days. And what happened there was horrific. First of all, they arrest a minor. And then later, Phulan Devi said that the police did not just beat her, they separated her multiple officers. No protection, no justice. Just a child and humiliated by the very people who were meant to uphold the law. I was shivering when I read this part of her book. Not one person who was supposed to protect her actually did protect her. Imagine getting to know how brutally people abuse power before even turning 18. And the brunt of this abuse of power is often faced by people who are the most marginalized. Their lives are disposable, their dignity, their honor, nothing matters. Even after all this, all she would hear from the villagers is that now she should be a good girl, that now she should be quiet, that now she should not make a fuss, now she's a dirty girl. All they wanted was for her to be quiet. That's it. And she would not do that, and they hate women who are not quiet. When a person's reality is that no one ever protects them, then how can we expect them to never protect themselves? How can we expect them to not retaliate ever? Mayadeen would say that she disgraced the family, or she was family when she disgraced them. But when she wanted her father's land back, She was not family. Funny how that worked. The villagers did not give her work anymore. People were not even allowed to talk to her. Everyone kept bothering her all the time, and they were hell bent on making her life miserable. At this time, a lot of Thakur men started coming to their village asking for Phulan Devi, the dacoit. Rumors had spread in the nearby villages that Phulan Devi was a dacoit, and a lot of men wanted to see her. People of her village did not like that because it put other women in danger. Phulan Devi fought them, but she could not do much. One night, a group of men came asking for Phulan Devi. They were banging on their doors, demanding she come out. They were shouting. They said if she does not come out, they'll take her brother. Then she comes out. They look at her and they think this is some kind of a joke. They had come here for the thief, the dacoit Phulan Devi, and this was just a child. But they had come all this way for her, and now they wanted her to go with them. So they Phulan Devi. Babu Gujar was a man who was kind of leading all the other men, and there was one more man, Vikram Malla. He was the same caste as Phulan Devi. He had some sympathy towards her, and he asked Babu Gujar to not even think of touching her. After 3 to 4 days, it was clear to Phulan Devi that these are two different gangs, and they have come together so they can work together. But there were differences. One gang was the Thakur gang of Babu Gujar, and other gang was the Malla gang of Vikram Malla. But because Babu Gujar was a Thakur, he felt like he had the upper hand. They would go around looting villagers, raping women. According to Phulan Devi, Vikram Malla would give a little portion of the lootings to villagers, and that's why villagers would help them sometimes and involve them in their celebrations. Now, even after Vikram repeatedly asked Babu Gujar to stay away from Phulan Devi, he still did not. He tried to her, and because of that, Vikram Malla. Now, Babu Gujar was because he a lot of Thakur men from his gang left. Now all of them obeyed Vikram. All of them looked at Phulan Devi as their sister, daughter and friend, and they never tried to her. This gang would loot the rich and give some of the money to poor, like India's Robin Hood. Phulan Devi told Vikram Malla her life story. She told him what happened to her at the age of 11 when she was married. She told him all about Puttilal, and Vikram Malla promised her revenge. They reached Puttilal's village and beat him. Phulan Devi also beat him. They dragged Puttilal out of his house, and after they were done beating him, they left him there. He was found the next morning. He was so hurt that he could not even go back to his house on his own. Vikram Malla and Phulan Devi say this out loud in the village, that this is what will happen to old men who marry little girls. Vikram Malla was the first man who not only defended Phulan Devi, he also avenged her. Then he started training her, teaching her how to use weapons. Not many years after she was accused of being a dacoit, now she actually was one. Coming back to Vikram Malla's helping nature, there were two Thakur dacoits in jail, Sri Ram and Lala Ram. Vikram was determined to get them out. He collected the bail money and he bailed them out. When they came out, they did not like the Malla supremacy of the gang, and they hated Phulan Devi for the fact that she was the reason Babu Gujar was, and they also hated her because she had a say in everything in this gang. And they also started hating Vikram because he killed Babu Gujar. Vikram got them out of jail, but tension was brewing slowly. In the absence of Vikram, they would taunt Phulan Devi, they would threaten her, but they could not do anything to her. The gang breaks because of the tension. Now Sri Ram gang is a different gang and Vikram Malla gang is a different gang. But when they were leaving Vikram, this time Vikram survived and held on for a few days. But they him again, and this time he died. And Vikram Malla was immediately after Vikram was, they kidnapped Phulan Devi. This is what they always wanted to do. They captured her and took her to a village called Bhemaing. There they her. So many men. They did not even think that she will survive, but she does. And after 3 weeks, a man who worked for Vikram Malla comes and saves her. Slowly, they start building their own gang. A Malla gang of dacoits led by Phulan Devi. Phulan Devi was full of rage, and how could she not be? They Vikram, who was the only man who ever protected her. Then they her, made her walk naked in that village and asked her to get water without clothes. They humiliated her. This village was occurs. 7 months later, Phulan Devi's gang gets to know from somewhere that Sri Ram gang members are going to be present in Bhemai for a wedding, the same town where they humiliated her. On the day of 14th February 1981, Phulan Devi once again enters the village of Bhemai. This time, with all her preparations done, she was determined to get her revenge. A lot of gang members of Sri Ram gang fled because they got to know that Phulan Devi is coming. Then she ordered 22 Thakur men to stand in line and shoot all of them. 2 or 3 were not Thakurs, but she felt like they were hiding the men that she wanted to, and so she all. This was the Bhemai massacre. The news was so viral that everyone in India got to know Phulan Devi's name. It was after this incident that the media started calling her the Bandit Queen. This incident deeply impacted the politics of UP. The then Chief Minister VP Singh had to resign because there was so much pressure, and now the police just had to find her. But they were unable to do that. For 2 whole years, they tried to catch her but could not. Indira Gandhi was the Prime Minister then, and she, along with SP Rajendra Chaturvedi, initiated the surrender of Phulan Devi. Phulan Devi was growing sick, and her gang members were becoming weak because of the aggressive police action. Imagine if police took action before, when she was just a kid, and asked the men of her village not to her. And imagine if they arrested Puttilal then and there when he started talking about his 11-year-old wife. Imagine, none of this would have happened. Sorry, I digress. Then Phulan Devi agreed to surrender under a few conditions. She will surrender in Madhya Pradesh and not Uttar Pradesh because she did not trust the Uttar Pradesh police. She will not surrender in front of police or any leader. She will surrender in front of a picture of Mahatma Gandhi and Ma Durga. She or any member of her gang will not be hanged until no one should be arrested for more than 8 years, and after she gets out, the government will give her land so that she can start a new fresh life. On 13th February 1983, Phulan Devi surrenders with her gang. There were a lot of people present during this surrender. In the book India's Bandit Queen, the true story of Phulan Devi, Mala Sen makes it clear that Phulan Devi's surrender deeply unsettled patriarchal status quo, especially in how men perceived her act of defiance. She wrote, her act of walking with her head held high, holding a rifle, shattered the expected image of a docile, broken woman. Phulan Devi's surrender was not a spectacle of male power over a rebel. It was the state negotiating with a woman banded on her own terms, and that humiliated men who wanted her crushed. Mala Sen also shows how the media sexualized her, reducing her rebellion to something sensational. She was portrayed as both seductress and a savage, which reflects on how men try to regain control of the narrative. Some people saw her as a folk hero, but others, especially those who had power, saw her as a threat to the social order. The idea that she did not beg or cry but stood on stage and surrendered with pride threatened their authority. 11 years in jail, Phulan Devi wrote her biography called I, Phulan Devi, which thank God she did, because that is how I got to know so much about her. Whenever I read books of people who are no longer alive, I feel like I am talking to them. And her biography is the greatest blessing that she has given all women. A lot of things that I have said in this video come from her biography. I feel like she personally told me all of those things. But for now, let's return to Mala Sen's book about her. And this is one of the most shocking moments in Mala Sen's book. She writes about how Phulan Devi's uterus was removed in prison without her informed consent. Phulan Devi had been suffering from some ongoing health problems and she was taken for medical treatment. But instead of that, she underwent a hysterectomy and she was not told properly why it was being done. It was forced, unauthorized, and left her traumatized. Mala Sen writes this with outrage, and I read it with outrage. Mala Sen framed it as another act of control over Phulan Devi's body. She writes, even in captivity, her body was not her own. It was managed, operated on, and violated again, this time in the name of care. They did not want Phulan Devi to have children. Children who would act just like her. But I am sure when they were violating her like that, they never imagined that years later countless people would call Phulan Devi Ma Phulan and see her as a mother figure. She did not need to have biological children to be a mother. She already had become one for so many in India. And even after all this, Phulan Devi adopted a 12-year-old girl, showering her with love and
आज हम बाहर हैं, कुछ करने लायक हैं, तो हम क्यों ना उसको अपने पास रखें, क्यों ना हम उसको अपना बनाएं और क्यों ना हम उसको पढ़ाएं लिखाएं, जो भी हम पे हो सकेगा हम उसके लिए करेंगे और अच्छे घर में शादी करेंगे। हमने तो उससे ये भी कह रखा अभी से कि जब तू बोलेगी तभी शादी करेंगे, नहीं जब तक तो नहीं करेंगे।
पढ़ना चाहती हूँ।
Phulan Devi was released from prison in February 1994 after spending over 11 years in jail. Her release was made possible by a political decision led by Mulayam Singh Yadav, then Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh, who withdrew all 55 cases against her, including charges of murder, dacoity and kidnapping. Mulayam Singh Yadav was known for championing for the backward caste, and he saw Phulan Devi as a symbol of lower caste resistance against the upper caste oppression. Her release was both political move and the recognition of the injustice she had faced and suffered as a victim of caste and gender-based violence. This sparked a nationwide controversy. So many people condemned this move. For Phulan Devi, her release marked a shift from being seen as a bandit to being reclaimed as a political figure and survivor. Soon she entered mainstream politics, eventually being elected as a member of parliament. Her journey from prisoner to politician reflected not just personal resilience but the power of public narrative and caste alliance.
अगर हमें तुम मारोगे तो हम भी चुप नहीं बैठेंगे, हम भी जवाब देंगे। और इसलिए मैंने कई दफे सोचा कि मैं आत्महत्या कर लूं, मर जाऊं, पर मैंने सोचा कि मरती तो हजारों लड़कियां रोज हैं।
She married Umed Singh and converted to Buddhism, and her political career was also going great. But the struggles were still not over. Her story inspired a movie called Bandit Queen, directed by Shekhar Kapoor, which shed light on her struggles and triumphs. But she was unhappy with this movie. In an interview, she clearly stated that she had a problem with 4 scenes. One where she was paraded naked scenes and one scene with Vikram Malla. They promised to cut those scenes, but they did not cut them. She was alive, she said no, and once again they did not listen to her. To say that I am disappointed is an understatement. She was supported by feminist novelist Arundhati Roy, who wrote the critique of film entitled The Great Indian Trick. She supported Mala Sen's book on Phulan Devi and criticized this movie by Shekhar Kapoor, saying that Mala Sen's book presented a complex story with different perspectives, and Shekhar Kapoor portrayed Phulan Devi as victim without even having met her once. This man did not even meet her once before making a movie on her life. Talk about being disgusting and unethical. Can we even blame her when she says that in next life she would prefer being an animal over being a woman?
हम अगले जन्म में भले ही जानवर बन जाएं पर इस तरह की मतलब औरत नहीं बनना चाहेंगे।
On 25th of July 2001, after attending a parliament session, Phulan Devi heads toward her home for lunch. When she steps out, 3 masked men start firing. The men who her revealed themselves 2 days later and surrendered. One of them, Sher Singh Rana, said that he wanted to take revenge for the Behmai massacre. Some say that he just wanted Thakur votes and he wanted to enter politics. He was put in Tihar jail and he said he would break out. Then he broke out of jail and went to Afghanistan. But this is another story. He was sentenced to life in Delhi court in 2014 and in 2016 he got bail from High Court. But this is not about him. This is about Phulan Devi and she is immortal. We will keep talking about her. We will keep taking inspiration for her and she will just always be present. Whenever I see Palash flowers blooming, I think of her. Her name also means flowered and somehow the Palash feels like her. Bright, beautiful and impossible to miss. I want to know how you remember her and I also hope that she's peaceful wherever she is now.
जिन्होंने मेरे को लूटा, मैंने उनको लूट लिया तो क्या हुआ? जब वो डकैत नहीं